everyone. Welcome to today's One Card Wonder Wednesday for Tuesday, July 3rd, 2019. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone's getting ready to have some fun for the 4th of July. Right now I don't have any plans. I might be working on some videos tomorrow. I'm not sure. But today I'm going to show you a video, and we are going to use the Free as a Bird stamp set. I'm going to pull up my page here so I can get my video pulled up, make sure it's coming on and showing everybody everything. There we go. Make sure my volume's turned down on my iPad or we'll be listening to me twice, and we don't want that. So I've used this set before, but today I'm going to make an extra special card. A friend of mine had received a card in a card swap. Unfortunately, there was no name on the card, so I don't know whose design this was, but it is really super cute, and I wanted to make it today. Isn't this adorable? It is a shaker card, and inside here they used birdseed, which I thought was fantastic. So my friend Lois came over earlier today and she brought me some birdseed, so we're going to use that birdseed and we are going to make this fantastic card. It looks easy, or that it looks harder than it is. It's easier than it looks is what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out of my mouth. So the first thing we are going to do is start making that little box to put our seed in, and it's really easy. I took a piece of, I don't know if you can see it, it's a window sheet, and I cut it, oh my goodness, now I gotta remember, 1 1/4 by, I didn't write any of my measurements down, by 3 1/4. So 1 1/4 by 3 1/4, and that is pretty much the same size as this rectangle. And to get this stitched rectangle, I used 2 of the rectangle stitch dies, and when you lay them on top of your paper that you're going to cut out, you put one, it's kind of sticking to me because it has a little sticky on it from the tape I used on it, the washi tape, and then you end up with a nice little frame like this, which is fantastic. So I just thought that was a great technique to show you with this little frame. Now I tried to use some of the fine tip glue pen to get it to stick down to the window sheet, and it would stick for a little while, but then it just ended up peeling off. So what we found today was using glue dots is the best way to go, and of course I don't have my glue dots right here, they're on the other table. Let me grab those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 on each corner. If I can hold on to my paper, I'm going to put 1 on each corner, and then just probably 1 in the center, because you just need enough to hold it down. It's not, none of the birdseed is going to come leaking out of this because this is the top and there's no way the birdseed could come out. So then I'll just do 1 in the center of each side. Hi Fran, hi Donna, how are you? I'm glad you're watching. And then you've got your window sheet. Like I say, it's hard for you to see, but I'm just going to take and flip this over this way and lay my window sheet on top of it, because I found that was the easiest way for me to make sure I got it where I wanted it without having, you know, too much over the edges or whatnot. And then once you have that, you're going to keep it flipped over this way, and you're going to get some of the foam strips. Hi Melanie, how are you? These are the foam adhesive strips. They're 1/8 of an inch wide, and they're 9 inches long, and I think you get like 10 yards in a package, so you get a lot of them. You're just going to go down the edges, and then just take your scissors, and I just snipped them off once I already had them stuck on there. I didn't measure and then cut them to size and then stick them on. It was easier for me just to do this. Yes, it is hot and humid down here too, Donna. Of course. If anybody's ready for 4th of July, I'm not. I don't really have any plans. Like I said, I might do some videos. Hi Katie, hi Lisa Marie. I'm going to stick this on here again if I can get it where I want it, because you just need it to make sure it's behind your frame, so when you flip your frame over, you're not going to see it. And you want to make sure you don't have any gaps, because the birdseed is kind of small and it'll fall out, and you don't want your birdseed falling out. Now, if I were to mail this card, you would definitely, I would put it in a padded envelope, just because I think it would get too smashed if you didn't. just because of the nature of the card. So now that that's ready, I am just going to take some birdseed that my friend Lois brought me, and I just grabbed a plastic spoon, and of course it's nowhere in sight now. So I'm just going to use my hands to dip it out. And you don't need a lot, so like when it's laying in there, so whatever fills about half of it, like if you tip it to one end, if about half of it's filled, then you're good. I mean, you don't want too much because you want it to be able to shake, obviously. And then I have another piece of cardstock cut from the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper, and I wanted these flowers for the background. So now that you have those in there, you're just gonna use, I'm gonna use the end of my scissors because apparently I am really ill-prepared for this video, to kind of get that adhesive off, that adhesive strip off the back of this, so we can expose that adhesive. Hi Karen, how are you? And if you do like I do, you're gonna end up with a little bit of bird seed stuck to it, and you're gonna have to stick it back in. Seriously. Because I have the dip stuff on my nails, like it makes them thick to where I can't, it's hard for me to grasp things. Usually I don't have any nails at all. So I do own a bunch of paper piercers, Lisa Marie, but they literally, none of them are on my desk right now. Yeah, I told you I was ill prepared apparently. So now that you've got that all ready, you just take this piece of paper, and whatever side you want showing obviously has to go down because you want that to peek through. And then you have your little shaker box already ready. If you have a little piece sticking over the edge like I do here, look, I had 2 pair of scissors. 2 pair of scissors, no paper piercer. Just trim that little piece off just so it's not showing. And voila, you have your little box made already. So next I took a piece of Pool Party. That is the base for the card. Go ahead and fold that over. Use your bone folder. Make sure you get a good crease. And then I ran a piece of Early Espresso through the Woodland Textures embossing folder. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here, I think, today, ladies. Just keep me in line, people. Just keep me in line. That's all I ask. Hi, Lois. How are you? And we're just going to use snail to adhere that down. You could use Tombow, you know, whatever your adhesive of choice is. But I'm just going to use snail to adhere that down. And actually, I wasn't supposed to adhere it down yet, was I, Lois? We're going to have to run some thread around that. As soon as I can find thread, it's in my other bucket because we did lots of cards today. All right, I'm back. But that's all right. I'll just run it around and tie my knot after it's adhered. So I'm going to leave quite a tail on this. And then I'm just going to run it around. So I have two strips across here, and then leave another pretty decent sized tail. And since I already have the adhesive on it, I will go ahead and stick it down. But I'm not going to tie it yet because I need to add this piece. This piece is another piece of the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper, and it's 2 inches wide by 4 inches, so it's the same width as this Early Espresso piece. And once we get that on there, then we can tie. I'm getting way ahead of myself with my steps today. I think I'm excited to be doing a video. I love doing my videos. I just need to get better and prepare and start planning and doing more videos. I think I'm going to start every card that I do in my classes. Lisa Marie and I had talked about this as an idea, to start doing those for everyone we do. Just cut an extra so you can make a video. I'm like, that's perfect, because once I get those cards done, then I already know what I'm doing. I can go ahead and make a video, and then that's more videos for you all to see and to learn from and figure out what you want to buy. And now I tied it in a knot to begin with just because I didn't want to try and fight with my bow trying to hold it and keeping it in place too much. So I tied the knot first, and of course we'll have some extra here just because I always leave extra when I tie my bows. Hold it down, just bring that down a little bit, and then just go ahead and trim these off. And they got your cute little bow. Isn't that adorable? And like I said, once you get the shaker part made, which really doesn't take that long, this card is pretty easy to put together. I have one of the little, from the stitch shape, one of the little stitch squares, and we are going to stamp this little bird in Memento because we are going to color with the Stampin' Blends, and you always want to use Memento when you're doing the Stampin' Blends. Now his tail is not going to be in the square, and that's okay. That's just going to be off the square. You're not going to see it. Nobody cares that our little bird doesn't have a tail. At least I'm not concerned about it anyway. If anybody else is worried, sorry, don't call PETA. It's not a real bird. It's just a fake one. All right, and then I had these all ready to show you what the names of the colors were, because I've got my labels on them because it's easier to read. If you have the Stampin' Blends, the writing on them is very small, and sometimes when you're trying to find the right color, it will take you forever to find the right color. So I just used my labeler and made some labels for it. You do you. If you can read those that small, then you go for it. But for me, it's just a little too difficult. So I always start with my darker colors first. So I'm using Crumb Cake Light and Soft Suede Light for the brown color on the bird. And I colored like his tail and a little bit of his wing here, and then a little bit of the outside of the wing, and up his head here. And that was pretty much it. I mean, the rest is pretty much with the Poppy Parade light and the Calypso Coral light. Set that one aside. And I like to use the brush tip. For me, the brush tip is just fantastic for the blending, because then you kind of get, this is going to lighten up some of that soft suede, but it's going to kind of blend in a little bit with this crumb cake. But it's not going to take away so much of the soft suede that you can't tell the difference between them. Now, if you were to keep going over it and over and over it, you may end up with obviously a much lighter bird, but I didn't want to do that. So then I took the Poppy Parade light and I went over, there's all of these little lines on his belly, and I kind of went up those little lines. And also here near the tail, and a little bit under his chin too. And so you have, you know, some space there to fill in with the Calypso Coral. And I love the Stampin' Blends too, Lisa Marie. They're one of my favorite things. And so you see how you've got two different colors there, but once you blend those edges in a little bit with this, and even go over a little bit of that crumb cake with this Calypso Coral, and it gives him a little bit of pink under his eye there too. So it kind of all blends in together, which obviously Stampin' Blends, there we go. That's why they did it. And then you can use pumpkin pie, or you can use Cajun Craze or anything like that. I'm going to use the dark Cajun Craze for his beak on this one. I used pumpkin pie on the other one, but I kind of like the way that Cajun Craze looks for the beak and for the feet. It's not quite as orange, but the pumpkin pie is great too. You can do it with whatever colors you want. And then just always beware that this is going to bleed through your Whisper White. So if you were coloring directly onto a card and it was your card front, you just folded, a piece of Whisper White and there was coloring on it, you might want to put a piece of scratch paper in between just to make sure it doesn't go through to the portion of your card where you're going to write your sentiment, because sometimes if you color a lot, it will do that. It'll bleed all the way through to the next layer, so you don't want that to happen. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to punch some leaves, and we're going to use the leaf punch. And I did one in vellum because we all know I got to throw some vellum in there. And then this is Pear Pizzazz, and we're going to punch two of those. Thought it was going to fly at me there, but it didn't quite have as much gusto as I thought. And we're going to go ahead and stick these down with some glue dots before we get our bird put down on there. So I just always take them and stick them right to the roll. Then you got a glue dot. And you don't have to come over super far with them, but just enough to, and I'm going to kind of tuck this one underneath, kind of underneath and over top of that thread there. I love that linen thread. Like that is another one of my favorites that we use or that we sell and that I use a lot. And then the vellum leaf I'll leave in the middle, and he's gonna kind of go a little bit over top and underneath this leaf here. I'm just gonna kind of weave them into each other because I kind of like the way that looks. And one last step, and I don't have the piece of paper here, so I'm gonna have to grab one. I have a piece of Calypso Coral that was just a scrap, and Lois saved it for me earlier, and that was the piece I was gonna use, so it worked out perfect. Thank you for saving that for me, Lois. This is the piece I'm gonna use. And I just did hello, and then I thought even on the inside you could put happy birthday, and I always just stamp it first before I put it through my punch, or I try to anyway, when it comes to my words. And I'm gonna use the classic label punch, but obviously this isn't quite long enough to do the classic label, but I'm just gonna stick it in as far as I can get it. And then I'm gonna use my paper piercer because it is or not my paper piercer, but my take your pick tool with my little sticky end here to get it where I want it. And now you see I've only got one end that has that little arrow on it, but I don't want that arrow. I'm gonna stick it back in, and I'm gonna cut off the ends to make a little banner. I had that in there a little crooked, so I got a little piece there, but that's all right. You just snip it off. And I'm gonna stick this end in and do the same thing. Just get a little snip off the end to make it a banner. Isn't that cute? Isn't that a nice way to use this punch? And then it's easier to make a small skinny banner like that using this punch than it is to use the triple banner punch, just because you don't have to move it around quite as much, and because this is really thin. We're gonna go ahead and put some glue dots on the back of these. Now for the bird, you're only gonna need, or not glue dots, I'm sorry, dimensionals. Dimensionals on one side, and then on the side where your bird's face is, you're just gonna use a little bit of snail or glue, whatever you wanna use. And then for the little banner, we're just gonna use a couple of the mini dimensionals. We are going to flip our little box of birdseed over. And I just, like I said, I used snail earlier and it held really well. And then I'm just gonna stick this on. I'm gonna turn that leaf just a little bit so I don't cover it. So you're gonna just kind of put it over partially on this piece of paper that has the bird cages and partially on the early espresso piece. And then go ahead and take the backings off from these and off from this one. And we'll get our bird on there, and we want our bow to show, so I don't want to cover up my bow, so I'm going to put my bird a little bit higher this time than what I did on this card. Get him stuck on there, and then you've got your little hello banner, and you can bring that right underneath and across. And there you have it. Now, if you wanted to, this is light enough on the inside, you could write on the inside, but you can just put a piece of Whisper White in there if you want to as well. Sorry, Lisa Marie, I haven't stamped anything on the inside of either one of these cards yet, but I was thinking about stamping one of the flowers maybe, but I'll probably put a piece of Whisper White in there. So let's do that. Let's get a piece of Whisper White and we'll stamp on the Whisper White, and then we'll get it in there because I didn't get this one done earlier. I had big plans to do a lot of stuff today that didn't quite happen. This one's a little bit smaller than what I want. Let me see if I have any of my bigger pieces. Now we'll go with this. This is 3 3/4 by 5, I believe. So it's not horribly small. It'll still work. Just get our adhesive on it. We can move this one out of the way since we have this one already done now. We can get this in our card. Maybe stamp one of these flowers in here. I know, Katie, no naked insides, I know, but I just wasn't good about it today. So I'm just gonna use this little flower. I think it's cute, and maybe I'll stamp it twice. Grab a block, we use some Memento, and we'll color that in maybe with the Calypso Coral and the Poppy Parade to match our little bird on the front. Yeah, we'll just put 2. That's kind of cute with the 2 little flowers right there. We'll just use some Poppy Parade in the center. My ink's not quite dry. I blow on it a little bit just to get that dry so it doesn't smear too much. Because if you don't let the memento dry all the way, it will smear, and it has done that just a little bit on this piece, but that's okay. It doesn't look too bad. You can't see it on the camera. That's how minimal it is. But there you have it. Today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. This super cute birdseed shaker card. I wish I knew whose design it was. But I did use their design. It's not my original, but I had so much fun making this card. And this is the 3rd one that I've made, and I think I have enough supplies to make another one, and I'll probably make another one because I just think they're really cute. I have enough of everything cut out already, so you may be getting one of these in the mail. You never know. Maybe I'll do a drawing and maybe someone will get this card. So how about I do that? Everyone who's watched today, who watched it live, I'm going to put your name in and I'll do a drawing and you will get a card in the mail. So if I don't already have your address, I will private message you for your address and I'll get your address and send you this beautiful card. I hope you had fun watching today's video, and I will try to get some more videos done. Maybe I'm trying to do another video for Friday, another technique video. I need to look at all the techniques that I have written down, and I'll come back on Friday to do a little technique video. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.